Cummins, what was Bryan Malinowski's principal livelihood?
He was the highest paid city employee in the city of Little Rock as the executive director of the Little Rock Airport, and it's a matter of public record. I think he made about $260,000 a year.
So it wasn't selling guns?
No, sir. This was
and the rule at the time,
the
law at the time says if your principal livelihood is not in selling firearms, you do not need an FFL. Is that accurate?
That's my understanding, to the best you can have.
So what was the crime? What did he do wrong?
You'd have to ask ATF. They decided that maybe had committed a crime, even though.
Now the standard has changed, but the new rule didn't take effect until this past Monday. Is that right?
That's correct.
And even under the new standard, there's a question of whether he was in violation of the law. Is that accurate?
A huge question.
Huge question. But under the old standard, it was pretty simple. Is your principal livelihood selling firearms?
That's correct.
And for Bryan Malinowski, it wasn't.
Obviously not.
It wasn't. And yet, at 6:02 on March 19th, 10 cars pull up to his home and to the gentlelady behind you's home, come up to the door in tactical gear and put a tape across the doorbell camera so no one can see what's going to go on.
Correct.
Now that's scary to me. Now, if the guy had done, if he had for sure done something wrong, a crime, okay. But they do that, and then 57 seconds later, gunshots erupt, and Bryan Malinowski is no longer with us. A good man, you knew the guy, served your community, highest paid city official in Little Rock. What the heck do you think's going on here?
That's the question on the lips of every person in Arkansas that's contacted me, and that's a large number of people.
And isn't it true that a week before, these same agents were there in the Walmart parking lot close by the Malinowski home, going to go execute the search warrant, and then decided not to because Bryan Malinowski wasn't home? Why was it so critical that he'd be home?
I don't know, Mr. Chairman. It was a search warrant. In fact, they could have waited till nobody was home and come, and if they wanted to kick the door down, they could have come at noon and kicked the door down when Mayor and Bryan were both gone.
And searched and found whatever they were looking for.
Exactly.
And anything they wanted on Mr. Malinowski, if they wanted his phone or anything, they could have served that warrant. They could have got a warrant for that. I'm sure the judge would have given it to him, and they could have done that at the airport. Correct. At his principal livelihood at the airport, correct?
Correct.
Then to add insult to injury. This is the part that just, I know, infuriates Mr. Hill as your member of Congress, and I would bet any American, to add insult to injury, the way they treated his spouse, Mrs. Malinowski, sitting behind you, the way they treated her at a moment that may be the most high anxiety moment in any individual's life, their spouse has just been shot. That to me is like unbelievable. What she had to go through.
It makes me very angry.
Well, it should. It should make all of us angry. I think it makes a Democrat. There's no explanation for that. That to me, and I keep coming back to, was this done for some kind of intimidation? We've seen this from other agencies, frankly. Intimidation. We had the FBI, Mr. Houck, come in, arrest him in front of his wife and children. Same thing. Pre-dawn raid, 7 kids there, take him away. When his attorney said, we'll be happy to work with you. You'd have been happy to work with these guys if they had contacted you or any.
Absolutely.
That's the part that gets us. That's the part that gets. What was his principal livelihood? It was not selling firearms. I can't figure out what the crime is. Now, by the way, any of the firearms that Mr. Malinowski sold as part of his hobby, any of them ever be used? Were any of them ever used in a crime?
The affidavit alleges that they were found in crimes, but the crimes were 3 traffic stops where there was marijuana and a firearm in the car, so that was a crime. Yeah. And 2 other ones, but they were never fired in the commission of a crime.
Guns themselves were never used in a crime.
They were never used in the commission of a crime, according to the affidavit.
Yeah. So you asked it in your testimony. You said the right thing. Why? Why did they do it? Why did this happen? That's what we're going to try to find out. And tomorrow, Mr. Dettelbach will be sitting right where you guys are sitting, and we're going to ask him questions about this. He's probably going to say ongoing investigation, but we're going to push him as hard as we can to try to figure out why they would behave in this way and why they didn't wear body cams. I mean, it's almost like, what are they trying to hide? Cover up the doorbell, no body cams? What are they trying to hide? But we'll get to those questions tomorrow. With that, I see my time has expired. I would now recognize the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as a member of the House Oversight Committee, I strongly supported